Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you tonight in my red star chiffon evening gown, my face softly made up and my fair hair gently waved. The Iron Lady of the Western world. Where there is discord, may we bring harmony. Where there is error, may we bring truth. Where there is doubt, may we bring faith. And where there is despair, may we bring hope. And to all the British people, howsoever they voted, may I say this: now that the election is over, may we get together and strive to serve and strengthen the country of which we are so proud to be a part. To those waiting with bated breath for that favourite media catchphrase, the U-turn, I have only one thing to say: U-turn if you want to. The ladies not for turning.
The commander of the operation has sent the following message. Be pleased to inform Her Majesty that the White Ensign flies alongside the Union Jack in South Georgia. God save the Queen.
What happens next, Mr. Nott?
Thank you very much.
Just rejoice at that news and congratulate our forces and the Marines.
Are we going to declare war on Argentina, Mr. Thatcher?
Yes, the Commission does want to increase its powers. Yes, it is a non-elected body, and I do not want the Commission to increase its powers against this House. So, of course, we are differing. Of course, the chairman or the president of the Commission, Mr. Delors, said at press conference the other day that he wanted the European Parliament to be the democratic body of the community. He wanted the Commission to be the executive, and he wanted the Council of Ministers to be the Senate. No, no, no. Because we on this side have never flinched from difficult decisions, that this House and this country can have confidence in this government today. I haven't had time to make up or anything, so I just hope it's all right.
We have got some powder if you think that's...
Could you just go back a bit? I'm a little bit worried about that porcelain guy.
The Duke.
The Duke of Wellington. No, that's all right. Only, not you, but London Weekend once had him marching out of my ear, and it looked very odd. So sorry.
So sorry.
I think that's fine.
Good.
And I think that's lovely. Well, if it looks all right by your expert eye, I'm quite happy with it.
It looks fine to me.
And how long are we going to stay?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Only 10 minutes?
Sorry, we only have 26 in the whole show.
That means you want quick answers.
Well, I apologise.
How many questions? And do you want a bit of called Sir Alistair? I made a mistake with Robin, and I mustn't make it again.
Well, I'm told, Prime Minister, they're laying bets outside at this moment. Are we okay?
Yep.
Do you want a voice level?
All right.
Just for voice. Prime Minister, you're going to Maidstone to open a television station.
That is right, on Friday. And as you know, I've really made my independent television speech, so we're having to think what I shall say this time. Are you reading the news as well?
Yes.
So you've got to get back quickly.
Oh, no, it's back in time. No, it's 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock tonight?
10 o'clock.
Oh, not
Yes,
6 o'clock?
No. No, the thought is that we would use an answer in the 5:45 news,
yes,
and therefore trade it.
Are they doing it up? Have you got something outside which is putting it straight into
yes,
right here?
It's
And
a straight,
yes.
it's a straight, yeah.
So you literally these days don't have to go.
Alistair, we need the shot for the bong.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Shot for the what?
For the bong, on top of
For the headline, we call them bong because we have a big bang goes boing.
Yes, all
The Prime Minister says boing.
It wants to be up a bit. Yes, I think it wants to be up a bit. It's merely that you're looking straight into that one, aren't you? Yes. It's just that at my age, your neck shows your age. Yes.
Heavens.
Someone once said to me, I had my face lifted. I said it hadn't dropped yet, but the next... All right. Well, we'd better get on. If we don't do it well, we can do it again, can't
Surely?
we?
No, surely.
10 minutes, all right, Alistair.
Surely. We'll go on your cue.
Okay, we'll do the bong first. We'll go to
Yes. The point is, it's very nice just to have a scene setter to show that we are here in number 10 with you and the porcelain figure of the Duke of Wellington, and everybody therefore thinks, you know, it is being done in number 10 and not in the studio or... I can almost hear what she's saying,
So
but
can
not
I.
quite. Yeah, yeah.
Except that 2 sentences ago she said, OK, we'll start now. Now she's still talking.
25 seconds to interview. 12 or 13 minutes.
She has the shot. Yes, lovely, thank you.
The editor says 12 or 13.
The editor has given us an overrun already, before you
10
even asked.
seconds to interview. 5 seconds.
Prime Minister, now that our allies seem to be having second thoughts about their troops, isn't it time to call it a day and withdraw from the Lebanon?
No, I don't think you make sudden decisions like that. For quite some time we've been trying to get an expanded role for United Nations forces. When I was in New York in September, I spoke to Mr. Perez de Cuellar about it, and again our ambassador in New York was active just before Christmas. He's active again now, and the Foreign Office have called in representatives from our embassies in London. But before we leave, I think we've got to make alternative arrangements, particularly in the Beirut area, and the obvious thing is to get a better role and an expanded role for the United Nations forces.
Do you expect to have talks with the other Western Prime Minister?
The foreign ministers do meet quite frequently, and officials meet even more frequently. The point is, I think we must act together, and we can't just come out of the Beirut area and leave a vacuum there. You remember how terrible it was before the multinational force went in, and if there was terrible slaughter again, we should all feel very, very guilty indeed that we hadn't made proper alternative arrangements, and I think most people would agree that that was the right way to go about it.
But isn't there a risk that British troops will be slaughtered?
British troops are very, very highly thought of in Beirut. Well, I think you know that. You've seen it frequently and displayed it frequently on television. We have only 110 there. We couldn't go down to any lower number because they wouldn't have the number both to do the job and to defend themselves. They have protected Beirut. They go out and about on tours in scout cars. They're very widely welcomed by the Beirut people, and they actually protect the building where the ceasefire talks constantly take place.
Now, the new president of Argentina has asked for new peace talks with Britain. Do you say that sovereignty is still not negotiable?
Sovereignty is not negotiable.
But this is a democratic government. If you don't talk to them, aren't you risking another war in which Allied support will be much less?
No, you simply cannot lay claim to someone else's territory and then claim that there's a dispute and other people have to talk with you, whether you are a dictatorship or a democracy. But when you have become a democracy, that means the government in power has been put in power by the wishes of the people. You would expect such a government to respect the wishes of other people.
But what can you talk to the president about?
Oh, all kinds of things. First, about trying to restore more normal commercial relations. Second, by taking steps to restore diplomatic relations. But that couldn't possibly be done until they agree that hostilities are at an end. You couldn't have diplomatic relations if they hadn't said all hostilities ceased. But as a return for saying that, naturally they'd want the exclusion zone lifted. And the exclusion zone is only there because we still have a state of hostilities. So there's quite a lot to do. And we would like, obviously, to have more normal relations, if they will.
Now here, is it true that you want to stop the Liberal Party leader laying a wreath at the cenotaph?
I am quite happy for the existing arrangements for the cenotaph to go on. I had no wish to change them at all. And then Dr. Owen wished to change them, and as you know, there has been a lot about it in the press. I didn't want to change them. He wished to change them, and I pointed out that I thought that his party fought as the alliance with the Liberal Party and therefore was represented at the cenotaph. If they are to be changed, it's not a matter for me only, it's a matter for the other parties in the House of Commons. I can't just do it alone, and therefore talks have to be started with all the other parties in the House of Commons. It has come up once before, when the Scottish Nationalists got a lot of members in before my time, during the lifetime of the Labour government. They said, could they not also be represented at the cenotaph? And the then Labour government, of which Dr. Owen was a member, refused their request. Dr. Owen then suggested that he should be there, and this has all started in this way. I have no wish to change it. If it is to be changed, we must discuss it not with one other party or two. We must discuss it with all the parties in the House of Commons. And those talks are just starting. So it's a bit too soon for instant comment.
But wouldn't it be a good idea that all parties who want to defend this country and whose members have fought for this country should be entitled to lay a wreath?
I think that one assumes that everyone in Parliament is prepared to defend democracy and our way of life. The origin of that, having the three-party leaders, was, of course, when the ceremonies at the cenotaph came just in the post-war period, to demonstrate to the world at large that they'd all served in a coalition government in order to defend our way of life. Now, what happens? The Liberal Party went when they only had, I think, 6 members in the House of Commons. Now, do you say any party that's got 6 members? And what happens if they lose one in a by-election? And why should not other parties be represented if they were represented when 6? And so on. There are an infinite number of questions. I'm not going to decide a national or great national occasion like that. Unilaterally, I couldn't possibly do it, nor should I be entitled to do it. So we have to discuss it with the Leader of the House and with the Home Secretary, with the other parties, and come to some arrangement which they all accept and which will endure. And then, of course, it is also a great royal occasion too. That's most important of all, and we have to bear in mind that we lay our wreaths after the Queen, as head of state, and members of the royal family have laid theirs.
It's January now, and the cruise missiles are at Greenham Common. Do you think that they are here with the wholehearted support of the British public?
I believe that the British public is wholeheartedly behind NATO and realizes that NATO is our strength, our shield. NATO is the real peace movement. I believe they know that the stationing of crews and Pershings was a NATO decision, and I believe that when it is explained in that way, they accept the stationing of crews and, of course, of Pershing in Germany. And I believe that they know that we have an arrangement which has endured for many years with presidents of the United States, which has been recently renewed, that no nuclear weapon could be launched or fired from our territory without the specific consent of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
Would you go to Moscow to try to renegotiate missiles on both sides of the Iron Curtain?
I have no wish to go to Moscow at present. I believe that it would be very good if we could have more members of the Soviet government travelling the world as we travel the world. Mr. Gromyko certainly does. But I would like to see more of them going out and about and coming to see our way of life and coming to talk to us. As you know, the tendency is for Western statesmen to go there. But let's get them out and talk to them. I think the important thing now, at this rather crucial stage in East-West relations, is to get a greater general understanding. If we do that, you know, the details will come. But I don't think you'll necessarily get the general understanding by negotiation on very complicated details. I hope they'll go back to Geneva to negotiate. We have the Stockholm Conference. But I really want more general talks with more of them.
You see the West European leaders very frequently. Would you really go as far as stopping Britain's payments to the common market unless you get a better deal?
You know the latest developments. On the 31st of December, we hadn't been paid our 1982 refunds in full. We waited until then. Then we sent a very detailed note, which was delivered today by our community ambassador, Sir Michael Butler, to Monsieur Gaston Thorne, President of the Commission, pointing out we'd not had our 42 million and that the community was therefore in default with us. And we hoped that the Commission would make arrangements to pay it. There's another very large amount, much, much larger, something like £450 million, due at the end of March. I hope that will be paid. I hope both lots will be paid. One technically is in default. I hope they will not go into default with the other. If they do, then we will have to, in the famous phrase, and I think they all know exactly what it means, but some things are a little bit better wrapped up, that we shall have to take steps to safeguard our position.
That means you will take steps.
Oh, indeed, yes. We need the money. It's ours. It's due to us. It's promised.
Do you think Monsieur Mitterrand wants you to have the money?
I think when the time comes, he will recognize that it is very much better if we do have it on time, as was promised by all heads of government at Stuttgart.
The economy is looking a little bit better, but can you talk about a recovery while there are still 3 million unemployed?
I think we are into different technological times, and that is a factor which we must take into account in unemployment, as well as the world recession. We're really in a third industrial revolution. And therefore that means that one can manufacture the same number of goods, and indeed an increasing amount, with fewer people. We're also still hit, as you can see from the shipbuilding dispute, by people refusing to give up their restrictive practices, and therefore the business goes elsewhere. Now, if you look at the history of the heavy industries and of the big state industries as well as the private industries, both, they have employed fewer people over the past 10 years. That trend is going to go on, and you get more and more into the service industries, into insurance, into tourism, into many, many things that our forefathers never thought of and opportunities they didn't have. Now, the first steps of new technology tend to put people out of work. The second stage tends to create all kinds of jobs. Look, television is an example our forefathers never thought of. All kinds of jobs that didn't exist previously. We're in the interim now, and I hope this year we shall be in that stage where, although there will still be more redundancies, that we shall be getting increases, new business and extra business, so that we shall have unemployment levelling off, and then we shall be able to go into a regeneration period so that we can get more jobs for people. I believe they will come as they came after the second industrial revolution and after the first one.
So you think the second stage starts this year?
I believe that the levelling off starts this year, but we're already starting the second stage, and as you saw, the news that we're doing very well in our new electronics industry. The fact is, in part of industry and in part of our whole industry and commerce, there is a revival. But we're still getting redundancies in some of the old industries, so the overall picture is of some coming down and some starting up. But the revival is starting, and I want it to gather pace. It's the spirit of enterprise. They have it in the States. They never lost it. We went into so many controls that we have to get it going again. But we shall.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
May I just say one thing? Congratulations, Sir Alistair. I forgot with Sir Robin. I'd not like to make the same mistake twice. And a very happy New Year to you.
Thank you, and to you. I think that settled a few bets. Good. I thought that was fine.
I'm not sure they'll take
Very
that
good.
bit. will
Very
they?
good.
I'm not sure they'll
I think if they're running, I think if they're running short of time, that's the optional cut.
No. You must do that first.